Testing. Testing. 1, 2, 3, 4. Testing. Hello. Testing. 1, 2. That sounds good.
Shabbat shalom. Thank you.
I got it. I got you covered. That is enough. I probably poured too much. Yep, poured too much. Perfect. Perfect. Right there. Thank you. Stop futzing. Just use the time. If we could try. We're just going to try that.
Hine,
Hine,
Matov,
Matov,
Uma,
Uma,
Naim,
Naim,
Sheverachim, Sheverachim, Gam Yachad. Hine, Matov,
Matov,
Uma,
Uma,
Naim,
Naim,
Sheverachim, Sheverachim, Gam Yachad. Hine, Matov,
Hine, Matov,
Uma, Naim,
Uma, Naim,
Shevet Achim,
Shevet Achim,
Gam Yachad.
Gam Yachad,
Hine Matov,
Hine, Matov,
Uma Naim,
Uma, Naim,
Shevet Achim,
Shevet Achim,
Gam Yachad.
Gam Yachad.
Hine Matov, Uma Naim, Shevet Achim, Gam Yachad. Hine Matov, Uma Naim, Shevet Achim, Gam Yachad. Hine Matov, Shevet Achim, Gam Yachad. Hine Matov, Shevet Achim, Gam Yachad. Hine Matov, Uma Naim, Shevet Achim, Gam Yachad.
Let's turn to the middle of page 124 of our prayer books and page 1 of the Satellite Siddur for those joining us by live stream, and we'll read together. May the door of this synagogue be wide enough to receive all who hunger for love, all who are lonely for friendship. May it welcome all who have cares to unburden, thanks to express, hopes to nurture. May the door of this synagogue be narrow enough to shut out pettiness and pride, envy and enmity. May its threshold be no stumbling block to young or straying feet. May it be too high to admit complacency, selfishness, and harshness. May the synagogue be, for all who enter, the doorway to a richer and more meaningful life. Well, good evening and almost Shabbat Shalom. I welcome all of you joining our Shabbat services, and I hope you had a great week as we come together tonight to celebrate Shabbat as a family. For those joining us via live stream, I hope you found the Satellite Siddur so that you too can participate in tonight's service. There's going to be several times during service that we may ask you to please rise, and what we really mean is please rise if you're able to do so comfortably. Otherwise, by all means, please remain nestled in your seat. So let's start the Shabbat. Let's make this Shabbat official by inviting Linda Wrights us up to light our Sabbath candles as we rise and turn to page 120 of our prayer books or page 1 of the Satellite Siddur. They're right there, underneath the cloth, in back of the wine. And there you go.
O source of light and truth, creator of the eternal law of goodness, help us to find knowledge by which to live. Lead us to take the words we shall speak into our hearts and our lives. Let's continue reading together. Bless all who enter the sanctuary in need, all who bring the offerings of their hearts. May our worship lead us to acts of kindness, peace, and love. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu l'hadnei shel Shabbat. Blessed are you, Adonai, our God, sovereign of the universe, who hallows us with mitzvot, commanding us to kindle the light of Shabbat.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu le'adlik ner shel Shabbat.
Please be seated. Let's turn to page 125 of our prayer books. Where has the wheat vanished? Is it lost forever? Will I ever recover anything from it? The joy of life, the unexpected victory, the realized hope, the task accomplished. Will I ever be able to banish the memory of pain, the sting of defeat, the heaviness of boredom? On this day, let me keep for a while what must drift away. On this day, let me be free of the burdens that must return. On this day, Shabbat, abide. And let's read together. Help me to withdraw for a while from the flight of time. Contain the retreat of the hours and days from the grasp of frantic life. Let me learn to pause, if only for this day. Let me find peace on this day. Let me enter into a quiet world this day. On this day, Shabbat, abide. May these Shabbat hours of rest and renewal now begun open our hearts to joy and our minds to truth. May all who struggle find rest on this day. May all who suffer find solace. May all who hurt find healing on this day. May all who despair find purpose. May all who hunger find fulfillment on this day. And may this day fulfill its promise for us all.
We continue together on page 138 in the Mishkan Tefillah, page 2 in the Satellite Siddur. Lechadoni lichrat kala, pnei Shabbat nikabela. Lechadoni lichrat kala, pnei Shabbat nikabela. Lechadoni likrat kala, pnei Shabbat nikabela. Lechadoni likrat Shabbat, pnei Shabbat nikabela. Shamor v'zachor b'dibur echad, hishmi'anu el hamiuchad, Adonai echad, u'shemo echad, v'shemo tiferet v'litehillah. Lechadoni likrat kala, pnei Shabbat nikabela. Lechadoni likrat kala, pnei Shabbat nikabela. Verse 3. Mihigdash melech imelucha, kumi tzei, kumi uri, mitoch hafka, rav lashevet b'mek. Nobody wants to sing with me. Avachavula nigla, lechadoni likrat kala, pnei Shabbat nikabela. Lechadoni likrat kala, pnei Shabbat nikabela. Last verse. בואי ושלום עטרת בעלה, גם בשמחה ובצולה, תוך אמוני עם סגולה, בואי חלה, לך דודי, לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה, לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. We continue on page 144 in our prayer book, page 2, in Satellite Siddur responsively. יתגדל ויתקדש שמי רבה, בעלמא דברך יראותי וימליך מלכותי, בחייכון וביומכון ובחיי כל בית ישראל, בגלה ובזמן קריב, ואמרו אמן. יהי שמי רבה מברך, לעולם ולעלמי עלמיה, יתברך, יתברך, וישתבח, ויתפאר ויתרומם, ויתנשא, ויתהדר, ויתעלה, ויתהלל, שמי לקודשה בריחו, לעילה מן כל ברכתה, ושירתה, תושבחתה ונחמתה, דמירן בעלמא, ואמרו amen. As we turn to page 146 and page 3, we turn to the Baruch Hu responsively. Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMavorach, Baruch Adonai HaMavorach, Le'olam Va'ed.
Let's turn to the top of page 149, or page 3 of the Satellite Siddur. Praise to you, Adonai our God, for whom the evening flows. Your wisdom sets the way on which time and season glide. Your breath guides the sail of the stars. Together, creator of the tide of time and light, you guide the current of day into night. As heaven spans to infinity, you set its course for eternity. Praise to you, Adonai our God, for whom the evening flows.
Baruch atah Adonai Hama'ariv Aravim.
Amen. Now let's turn to the middle of page 150 of our prayer book, and we'll read together. Everlasting love, you offered your people Israel by teaching Torah and mitzvot, laws and precepts. Therefore, Adonai our God, when we lie down and when we rise up, we will meditate on your laws and your commandments. We will rejoice in your Torah forever. Day and night will we reflect on them, for they are our life, and doing them lengthens our days. Never remove your love from us. Praise to you, Adonai, who loves your people Israel.
Baruch atah Adonai Ohev Amo Yisrael. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Le'olam Va'ed. Ve'ahavta את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך. והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבבך, ושיננתם לבניך, ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצותי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אדוני אלוהיכם אמת.
Let us turn to the top of page 157 in our prayer books, or page 5 of the Satellite Siddur. Standing on the parted shores of history, we still believe what we were taught before we ever stood at Sinai's foot, that wherever we go, it is eternally Egypt, that there is a better place, a promised land, that the winding way to that promise passes through the wilderness. Let's read together that there is no way to get from here to there, except by joining hands, marching together.
Yai lai lai la lai la lai la lai la lai. Yai lai lai la lai la lai la lai. Yai lai la lai 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 la lai. Yai la lai lai yai la lai la lai. Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi kamocha nedar b'kodesh, nora tehilot osef ele, nora tehilot osef ele. Malechutecha rauvanecha, בוקר ים לפני משה ומרים, זה אלי ענו ויאמרו, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד. ונאמר כי פד אדוני את יעקב, וגלו מיד חזק ממנו, ברוך אתה אדוני גאל ישראל. יאי לי 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 לי, יאי לי לי לי, יאי לי 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 לי.
Let's turn to the middle of page 161, or the bottom of page 5 in the Satellite Siddur. Give us a place to rest, Adonai our God. Bring us into shelter in the soft, long evening shadows of your truth. For with you are true protection and safety, and in your presence are acceptance and gentle love. Together, watch over us as we go forth. Prepare for us as we return. Spread over us your shelter of peace, over all we love, over our Jerusalem and yours.
Baruch atah Adonai Abori Sukkot Shalom. Shalom Aleinu ve'al kol amo Yisrael ve'al Yerushalayim ve'al kol amo ve'al Yerushalayim shalom ve'al Yerushalayim ve'al kol amo ve'al Yerushalayim shalom Baruch atah Adonai Haporei Sukkah Shalom Shalom Aleinu Ve'al Kol Amo Yisrael V'shamru V'nei Yisrael Et HaShabbat La'asot Et HaShabbat L'dorotam B'rit Olam V'shamru V'nei Yisrael Et HaShabbat La'asot Et HaShabbat L'dorotam B'rit Olam Beini ubein B'nei Yisrael Oti le'olam Oti le'olam V'shamru B'nei Yisrael Et HaShabbat La'asot Et HaShabbat L'dorotam B'rit Olam Ki sheshet yamim asa Adonai Et hashamayim Ve'et haaretz V'shamru V'nei Yisrael Et HaShabbat La'asot Et HaShabbat L'dorotam B'rit Olam.
So tonight, in line with tradition here at JCMI, on the first Friday of the month, we celebrate the birthdays and anniversary of our members. So I'm going to ask you to please stand, but that's not going to happen until the anniversary part, when I call your name so that we can recognize your celebration. So tonight we're celebrating birthdays this month for Eleanor Einhaus, Sarah Straight-Wolf, Aaron Alter, Dolores Siegel, Carol Gross, and Yvette Benaroche. And JCMI members who are celebrating an anniversary this month are Ronnie and Nora Joel, ta-da, Rabbi Mark and Carol Gross, Larry and Judy Satcher, Paul and Lydia Kruger, and I know Paul is or will be online with us at some point, Donald and Belle Finfer, Norman and Adele Oppenheim, and Marty and Barbara Holtz, who decided to go to Disney. So please join Cantor Harry in singing the Shehekeyanu.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam Shehecheyanu v'kimanu v'higianu lazman hazeh Ah, 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 Amen.
As we turn to the tefillah, the core of our Shabbat service, I ask that you please rise as we turn to page 164 in our prayer books, page 7 in the satellite Siddur. Either read silently through page 178 or say internally whatever you're feeling at this time. We'll come back together once everyone is seated. Please turn to page 179 and follow along silently. Grant us peace, your most precious gift, O eternal source of peace, and give us the will to proclaim its message to all the peoples of the earth. Bless our country as a safeguard of peace, its advocate among the nations. May contentment reign within our borders, health and happiness within our homes. Strengthen the bonds of friendship and fellowship among all the inhabitants of every land. Plant virtue in every soul, and may the love of your name hallow every home and every heart. Praise are you, Eternal One, who blesses our people with peace.
Ose shalom bimromah, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'imru amen. Ose shalom bimromav, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'imru amen. Ya'aseh shalom, ya'aseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Ya'aseh shalom, ya'aseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Ya'aseh shalom, ya'aseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Ya'aseh shalom, ya'aseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Ose shalom bimromav, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Ve'imru amen.
Take a moment to reflect on the precious gift of this day, a day that has never existed before and will never come again. Life unfolds one breath, one choice, and one moment at a time, inviting us to be fully present. To live life to the fullest is not to fill every hour with activity, but to bring awareness and purpose to each experience. It is found in moments of gratitude, in acts of kindness, and in the simple joy of being alive. When we realize the need to control everything, we create space for wonder, growth, and unexpected blessings. Each challenge carries the possibility of wisdom, resilience, and a deeper understanding of ourselves. The relationships we nurture become sacred reminders that love gives meaning to our journey. May we have the courage to follow our values, pursue what inspires us, and embrace new possibilities. May we treasure the present moment rather than postponing our happiness for some distant future. And may we live with open hearts, grateful spirits, and the determination to make our days a blessing to ourselves and others. Please turn to the middle of page 371 of your prayer book, page 9 in the Satellite Siddur. We recite the Mishaberach prayer to ask God to send healing, strength, and comfort to those who are ill or facing challenges. It is also a way for the community to come together in compassion, hope, and support for one another. We have been asked to offer prayers for our JCMI members and family: Leah Jacobson, Joan Thompson, Bert Thompson, Bert Posner, Larry Satcher, Beth Pavlo, George Cartman, Belle Finfer, Carol Gross, Aaron Alter, June Streisand, Arthur Doxler, Jane Barron, Margaret Gallivan. And our JCMI friends and extended families are Julie Fitzgerald, Brandon Ben Sharon, Pete Carochi, Sandy Footlick, Bernie and Barbara Friedrich, Nan Needleman, Tom Boucher, Scott Snyder, Martha Eldred Stark, Joan Reich, Mel Friedberg, Paula McLever, Howard Rosenblum, Reverend Timothy Navin, Deborah Posner, Arlene Merstein, Ann D'Onofrio, Irv Shapiro, Lynn Hollander, Harold Hollander, Barbara Kretschmer, Pamela Michael, Elaine Driscoll, and Patrick Reedy. Anyone else like to offer? Jonathan? Beth? Anyone else? Go ahead, Maxine. So please join Cantor Harry in singing the Misha Berach prayer.
Page 371.
Oh, sorry.
Misha Berach Avotenu Mekor HaBracha Leimotenu. May the source of strength who bless the ones before us help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say Amen. Misheberach imotenu Mikor habracha lavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say Amen.
I now invite Jonathan Greenfield for tonight's Kiddush and Hamotzi as we rise, and turn to page 123 of our prayer book, page 10 in the Satellite Siddur.
Seventh day is consecrated to the eternal God. On Shabbat, eternal sign of creation. We are created.
Atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu. V'shabbat kodsho be'ahava uvratzon hinchilanu. Zikaron l'maaseh v'reishit, ki hu yom techila l'mikra'i kodesh, zecher litziyat Mitzrayim. Kivanu bachata v'otanu kidashta mikol ha'amim, v'shabbat kodshecha be'ahava uvratzon hinchaltanu. Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh HaShabbat.
Amen. L'chaim. All right, Jonathan, if you wouldn't mind scooching around front, slice up that island challah.
As we all join in the motzi. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, hamotzi lechem min haaretz b'tei avon. Hava nagila, hava nagila, hava nagila v'nizmecha. Hava nagila, hava nagila, hava nagila v'nizmecha. Hava niranana, hava niranana, hava niranana v'nizmecha. Hava niranana, hava niranana, hava niranana v'nizmecha. Uru, uru achim, urachim b'lev tameh, urachim b'lev tameh, urachim b'lev tameh, urachim b'lev tameh, urachim b'lev tameh.
You were supposed to take.
It is my pleasure and privilege to share with us this week's parasha, V'ha'alotecha, Denise Schwartzman. Yes.
Numbers, chapters, oh, Numbers, chapter 8 through 12. Harry, say it for me in Hebrew. Baha'alotah, when you rise up, when you raise up, or when you step up. When the parasha begins, the Israelites had been at Mount Sinai for a year. When the parasha ends, the Israelites take the first steps in the journey to the promised land. There's a lot to learn from this parasha, but for me, the dilemma has always been, how do we learn lessons from reading the Torah? Baha'alotah means when you raise up or when you step up. In these very first words, Moses tells Aaron to raise up or step up and light the flames of the lamp. Here there is an immediate tension felt in the reading and the ultimate learning from the Torah. Do we read every word as literal truth? Do we believe every word has meaning because the Torah was written by God? And if so, what does raise up or step up mean here? Some sages, who actually are among those who believe in the literal reading, posit that there was a step and Aaron had to step up to the lamps. There's not a word in the text about a step. No physical step is in the text. This is clearly, at least to me, an interpretation of the actual words. Therefore, for me personally, the better way to approach the Torah is to accept the Torah as our common cultural heritage and balance giving the actual words in the text their meaning in their historical context, and then digging deeper to discover what, if any, lesson can be learned. Using this approach, could step up be interpreted by us to follow its modern usage? Come on guys, step up. Hold that thought as we go through the lessons to be learned from these passages of the Torah. This particular parasha is chock full of lessons to be learned if we are willing to look for them and dig them out and learn from them. The first lesson reinforces the Jewish fundamental belief that all human beings are made in the image of God. We learned that way back in Genesis, our origin story. After ordering the lighting of the lamps, God consecrates the Levites and the animals for prayer, the Levites for his priests and animals for prayer sacrifice. God takes the Levites for his own, but he also takes the firstborn male of every Israelite. God says, "For the firstborn of the children of Israel Israel are mine." Why? The text clearly states that the giving of the firstborn is an act of atonement for the killing of the firstborn in Egypt. Not much interpretation to find meaning is needed here. If all of humankind is made in the image of God, if all human beings are God's children, then the Egyptian firstborns who were taken are also to be mourned, and they are to be mourned by us. In lesson 2, we learn that God gives us second chances. We know that the keeping of the Passover was commanded by the Torah, but here a second Passover is ordained for those who were unable to keep the first. The text contains no litany of qualifications for gaining a second Passover. It merely says that for the first, the person was either unclean or traveling. Second chances without judgment. That's another good thought to consider. In highlighting the next lesson, we hear Moses asking his father-in-law, a Midianite, not to return to his homeland, but to stay with the Israelites and be as one with them. This is not the first time in the Torah that God tells us that the stranger who sojourns among us must be treated exactly the same as the Israelite, whether for good or for bad. Sometimes it wasn't so great, but most of the time it was good. This passage clearly can mean for us equality. No separate or special treatment for the stranger among us, the stranger, the other, the one we are not, based on race, religion, national origin, or sexual orientation. There's actually quite a bit more in the parasha we could be learning from, especially if we are willing to follow this particular mode of interpretation. The cloud over the tabernacle and the pillar of fire serving as a guide for the Israelites. In our lives, we have guides. Perhaps they do not appear as dramatic as a pillar of fire, but we as Jews and Americans, we do have principles and values that should guide us. Are we willing to follow these guides? Then there are the silver trumpets to sound the call so all of Israel will know to break camp and travel, and thus all the people will stay together. Are we remembering to stay together as a community and a country, or are we succumbing to the forces that would tear us apart? Next, even Moses needed a council of elders to help him manage the Israelites. Nobody, not even our greatest leader, can go it alone. A lesson for me here teaches that no one person has all the right ideas. But on this, the 250th year of our country's birth, I would like to focus on a very important lesson to be found as the Jews take the first steps to the promised land. The Israelites had been fed and cared for, and I imagine shaded, by God for a year in the desert. But instead of being grateful, they began to whine and complain about the food. They were tired of manna. They whined that they miss eating flesh, and specifically fish and cucumbers in Egypt. They seemed to have completely forgotten their history, forgotten entirely that they had been oppressed and suffered as slaves in Egypt. To put it mildly, they were ungrateful. To quiet the whining and complaining, God rains down quail upon the complainers, giving them flesh to eat, and eat they do until quail comes out of their nostrils. For me, there is a clear lesson for us as Jews today in America. For all the Jews in America, somewhere in their ancestry, somebody took a first step towards a promised land. No, it wasn't Canaan, it was the U.S. They arrived in New York, or Galveston, or Baltimore, or Boston. Mine came through New York. My ancestors came through New York and Rhode Island. These modern Jewish complainers look at America and find nothing to be any good. It's the nothing that upsets me. This so-called modern progressive point of view is a short step away from nihilism, and nihilism is dangerous. We should never forget that we as Jews have lived in peace in this country since its founding, and that we are full participants in the greatest freedom and prosperity that the world has ever known. Is it perfect? Of course not. But also never forget, the perfect is the enemy of the good. Because if we fall into thinking nothing is any good, what do we have to build upon? Are we becoming like the Israelites who forgot what went before? Have we forgotten our history? For the Jews who rail that nothing in America is any good, I suppose they are secure in the belief that quail will not shoot out of their nostrils. I think they're wrong. Take a look at the election of the mayor of New York City. We need to concentrate our efforts on building upon the gifts given to us from this, yes, exceptional country and our marvelous cultural heritage. We must never forget Tinkamoli. There is work to be done. Let's work to make these wonderful gifts available to all who live here, so we all live in peace. In the face of rising anti-Semitism, a brief history lesson on America's 250th anniversary may be in order. Jews were given full citizenship rights here in America from the beginning. It's in the Constitution. And it didn't start with the Constitution. Some of the colonies recognized full citizenship for Jews as the governing rule when the colony was founded. Thank you, William Penn. I'm from Philadelphia. No, the Constitution is not perfect. It sanctions slavery. It didn't recognize rights for women and so on. But it does express fundamental values of our country. Just as the Torah, in spite of the passages on the slaying and the smiting, expresses fundamental values for Jews. To quote Rabbi Hillel, "That which is hateful to you, do not do to your neighbor." That is the teaching of the Torah. All of the rest is commentary. I would like to close with a quote from George Washington's 1791 letter to the Hebrew congregation of Newport, Rhode Island. It is now no more that toleration is spoken of as if it were indulgence of one class of people that another enjoyed the exercise of their inherent natural rights. For happily, the government of the United States gives to bigotry no sanction, to persecution no assistance, requires only that they who live under its protection should demean themselves as good citizens in giving it on all occasions their effectual support. May the children of the stock of Abraham who dwell in this land continue to merit and enjoy the goodwill of the other inhabitants, while everyone shall sit in safety under his own vine and fig tree, and there will be none to make him afraid. That was the dream of America. How can that not be good? How can we not step up and make that dream come true? Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom. That was fantastic. What I got out of that tonight was to be grateful for what you have and don't think about what you don't have. That's we were actually talking about that this afternoon. Whoa, that just went on. Just playing behind me. That's what he does. All right. My name is Keith Alter. I'm the president of this congregation, and I'd like to, on behalf of the board of directors, have a few announcements. I'd like to also welcome visitors worshiping with us and invite you to stay on hand for our Oneg Shabbat services after out in the mirror room. Tonight's Oneg was coordinated by Lynn Wilk, Mitch Braun and Bob Jaws, Mary Pinto, and Beth Weinberg. Thank you very much. If you want to eat good, better clap. Our lovely flowers tonight, and they are very lovely. Absolutely gorgeous. Are donated by Charles Blum, a.k.a. Charlie, Karen Tessel Blum, in memory of Joy Tessel, Karen's mother, and Lorraine Blum, Charlie's mother. And they are absolutely gorgeous in their honor. Current details of everything going on in the congregational life can be found on our website and in our monthly newsletter, The Messenger, and a semi-annual weekly email notifications that we send out to the membership. But tonight I'd like to remind you of a couple of things. We are now signing up for the 4th of July barbecue, which is on, guess what? The 4th of July, which is a Saturday. So if you're around, we'd love to have you. We'll be cooking, barbecuing, singing, and playing games. The next board meeting will be on Thursday, June 25th at 7 p.m. The 2026-27 Women's Book Club flyer is now available around the building and on our website. The Chess Club meets every Tuesday from 9:30 to 12 noon. Please contact Irv Pavlo. The office is selling Memorial Yitzhak candles, and please do not forget to bring food in for those people in our community in need, either tonight or any day during the week when you come in. And also you can leave donations in the tzedakah box. And now as we move to the conclusion of tonight's worship, I invite to the bimmer for our final honorees, my wife Tony Ann, and I'll make an exit out back. And please open your prayer books to page 586. Shabbat Shalom.
עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים, הקדוש ברוך הוא. ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד ושמו ושמו אחד.
You may be seated. As we prepare to recite the Kaddish, we gather our thoughts in gratitude for the lives that have touched our own. We remember that love does not end with loss. It continues in memory, in values, and in the goodness we carry forward. The lives of those we honor remain woven into the story of who we are and who we are becoming. Their acts of kindness, wisdom, and compassion continue to inspire us each day. Even in moments of sorrow, we can find strength in the bonds that connect generations. May we cherish the blessings we receive from those who came before us and strive to pass them on to others. May their memories encourage us to live within purpose, dignity, and gratitude. May we find comfort in community, knowing that we do not walk life's journey alone. We lift our voices together. May we reaffirm our commitment to bring light, healing, and peace into the world. And may the remembrance of our loved ones be a source of blessing, inspiration, and enduring hope. Tonight, we offer Kaddish for our loved ones for whom we are observing Yortzeit. Maurice Atkin, Charlotte K. Baker, Roger Blau, Lorraine Blum, Harold Brownstein, Floyd Emmerich, Joel Farber, Sherry Farber-Tritt, Wilbur Gross, Irvin L. Kalu, Ivan Kalu, Hyman Levin, Emma Lipset, B. Margolis, Fred Ostrow, Sheila Phillips, Dr. Harry L. Sherman, Joy Tessel, and Melanie Tuller. Is there anyone tonight also observing Shiva Shaloshim or Yortzeit? Please raise your hand. Steve? Ravina Chase. Dennis? Anyone else? Please rise as we turn to page 598 in our prayer book, page 11 in the satellite Siddur. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei rabbah, v'alma divra kirute v'amlich machute, v'chayechon uvimechon uv'chaye dekol beit Yisrael, ba'gala v'zman kariv v'imru amen. Yehi shmei rabbah mevarach leolam elomei amaya, yitbarach v'yitabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitboman v'yitnaseh, v'yithadar v'yitalev v'yitalal shmei kudisha barichu, le'ela min kol birkata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata, da'amiran v'yama v'imru amen. Yehi shlama rabbah min shemaya, Yechayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Osei shalom b'imrumav, hu ya'asei shalom, aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. May the source of peace send peace to all who mourn and comfort to all who are bereaved. And let us say, Amen.
And to conclude the service this evening, we turn to pages 626 in our Mishkan Tefillah, page 12 in the satellite Siddur, Ein Keloheinu. Ein Keloheinu, Ein Kadonenu, Ein Kemalkeinu, Ein Kemoshienu, Micheloheinu, Michadonenu, Michemalkeinu, Michemoshienu, Nodel Eloheinu, Nodel Adonenu, Nodel Malkeinu, Nodel Moshienu, Baruch Eloheinu, Baruch Adonenu, Baruch Malkeinu, Baruch Moshienu. Atahu Eloheinu, Atahu Adonenu, Atahu Malkeinu, Atahu Moshienu. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat shalom. Good Shabbos, everyone.
Thank you. Okay, that's exactly.
Thank you.
Charlotte.